Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Women and Business podcast, videocast, whatever you want to call it. It is Wednesday, June 10th. My guest today is Pilar Harrison from Pill Customs. We're going to talk about so many things. It's going to be a great show. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about Pilar so you know who she is. She has been in business for just over 2 years. She started off as a crafter making shirts for the other Pom Moms. It quickly jumped to team orders and she upgraded her plotter, software, and heat press. She travels to shows to help Matt in the TRW booth. That's the rhinestone world for those who don't know, and really enjoys the one-on-one chats with other businesses. As an admin for the TRW crafting page, she helps members, which is one of her favorite things. She was honored to be included in the March 2020 issue of Printwear magazine featuring women in business. I'm so excited to have her here. We're going to have a really great conversation, and I'm going to pop her in here. And yay, there she is, looking all gorgeous. So,
you're sweet. Hello.
Well, you know,
Thanks for having me.
we had a conversation about hair before we started. And I was like, I wish my hair would do that. But anyway,
thank you.
Let's say hello to a few people here before we get going, because it's always fun to see us here. Jane, howdy from Houston. Kelly, hey. Tanya Michelle, hi Christine, well that's sweet. Libby Hoffman, hi from New Orleans. Wow, we're going all over the place. Hey Pilar from Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
Oh, and also Tanya says, hi Pilar. You have fans apparently. And Pia, hi Pilar, looking gorge. Yes. Well, the first thing woo, good Pilar. There you go. I like it. This is sweet. Let's see what else we got here. Nicole Jackson. Hi, Pilar.
Hey, guys.
If any of you people are in the garment decoration space, you should definitely come and join the Women in Garment Decoration group. I'm going to throw that out there right now if you are not already a member, because we love new people in the group. And it's a good group. We're a good bunch. You should come and join us. So, and the other thing I wanted to get out here real quick, this is Pilar's website, Pill Customs, and also her Facebook page. So, and I also did the TRW group, but it doesn't have a TRW. I don't know why they don't have a name for it
yet. It's called Crafting with Rhinestones and Vinyl, hosted by the TRW crew. Yeah. So it's really long, but it's an awesome group, and everyone's very supportive in there. And we have anywhere from brand new beginners all the way up to people very seasoned in the business, that's been in the business like 15, 20 years.
Yeah. So, well, and I know, let's start there, because I know that's one of the things that you mentioned, that was mentioned in your bio. And it's also one of the things that I'm always curious about is how people find their thing, their craft, or their what they like. So what was it about rhinestones or TRW or the mix of the two that was something that attracted you?
So when I started, I only started because my daughter had made the Poms team in high school. And I was the idiot mom that didn't have any spirit wear. And I went to a big event and I was there with my best friend, and we looked like the bad moms who didn't support our kids. So I'm like, I'm going to go get a Cricut machine and I'm going to learn how to make something, and I'm going to make something for the next one in 2 days. And so I started just making shirts for the other Pom Moms, and it just exploded. And then every time somebody asked me how to do something, or if I could make them something I didn't know what to do or how to do it, that's what really pushed me to the next level. And so the friend I made a shirt for, I said, oh, you need to do rhinestones with this. I'm like, it's a cutter. It cuts vinyl. It doesn't put stones on. So I started researching, and I stumbled across Matt and TRW, and he has a billion videos that are awesome on YouTube. And I just fell completely in love with this whole industry and learning. And so I jumped in, and literally everybody on the page knew more than me. No one knew less than me. I was like the complete noob, didn't know anything, ready to learn. And it was just awesome. I've met some of my best friends through TRW and through this industry.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I tell people Facebook groups are such a resource.
Laura's on. Hey, Laura. It's my daughter's best friend's mom's on, too.
So I'm assuming this is Laura.
Yes. Hi.
Hi, Laura. And we've got Libby who says, I'm a beginner but eager to learn. And Grant is here.
Hey, Grant.
I'm so glad all you guys came to watch us. I really like this. So one of the things I like about what you just said, though, is nothing, when you started, you knew zero. And
Exactly.
you just figured out, I want to learn and I want to grow my business and figure out how to do more things. So you just jumped in and did it.
Head first. Yeah.
You had no, because I think for a lot of people, number one, it's hard to admit you don't know. They feel like they should know, even though that's what those kind of groups are for, is to be to help you learn.
Well, I think that unfortunately there's a lot of groups out there where they say they're supportive, but then a lot of people in there, just because of the mentality, keyboard warriors, feel it's free to go ahead and slam somebody like, oh, no, you shouldn't have done this. You did this wrong, blah, blah, blah. But I honestly think that part of the difference with the crafting page from TRW is that Matt Vassallo has his own philosophy in there, and he's very welcoming and embracing, and he's a fantastic teacher. And so that's the community we have. And it's really grown from there. It was, I think, 15,000 to 16,000 members in there when I first joined. And now it's, I don't know, probably about 20,000. It's huge. And so it's great because you have people all over willing to jump in and answer questions at any time of day.
That's amazing. And I think one of the things that you said there that is really important, it has to come from the top. It has to come from the people running the groups, the admins, the founders, because, they set the tone for everything. And there's nothing worse than a group that's catty and territorial.
Well, exactly. Like even your own group, you've built it so that it is very supportive, because I think sometimes for women, we don't have a lot of experience growing up in, like, say, team sports. There's not a lot out there for women to support each other. And so it's very easy for women to just degrade into being catty, how you said, or trying to one up each other. But in your group especially, it's, very supportive, like, hey, let's go ahead and celebrate what you did this week. Hey, what can we help you with? Hey, let's go ahead and toot our own horns this week.
Yeah.
Anything happened that made you feel good?
If you're having issues. But I love all these. I got to put some of these in here because everybody just loves you, apparently. Pilar is the king of bling. Pilar is a trusted friend and resource. She is awesome. That's really sweet. What else is this? I've learned so much from Pilar. She's very giving and patient. So kudos to you, because that's awesome. The kind of, here's another one. Whoops. Pop up there, you stupid thing. Doesn't want to do it. Pilar is crazy helpful. Yeah,
that's awesome.
The operator of the comments is having an issue here.
So actually, Joe, just who had that comment, just sent me this really awesome decal that he made with rhinestones. He's just starting with rhinestones. Cool. And so he's just, that is awesome that he's just starting and he's already making rhinestone decals. So I thought that was cool. Awesome.
I think part of what I'm getting and part of what I got from conversations we had when we were prepping for this is that you really love the teaching aspect and helping people grow what they can do and who they are.
Exactly. It's amazing how much I'm still learning. Like, that's one cool thing about this business is I'm learning every day.
Right.
And I rely a lot on people who know way more than I do, and being able to pass that on without having kind of judgment. I think that a lot of people are worried about that. And like, oh, I'm new. I don't want to ask questions. I don't want to be the dumb kid. And I was like, no, I'm still learning. I have so many questions about so many things. I don't know anything yet. So it's cool that people can just reach out and support each other. I absolutely champion that. I love it.
Well, and one of the things that I also wanted to ask you.
Right, that's my kid.
Hi. And I wanted to ask about her. So that was a nice segue.
Okay. Well, she's going to have lunch.
Just because you are the first person I think I've had on this show that still has a kid that's in the house with you. Yeah. So I was curious as to what you're teaching her about owning a business, or
I'm probably
owning a business.
I think the one thing she's gotten from me is just stay focused, and probably my work ethic. The bad thing is that I'm really good at focusing on one area of my life at a time, and then just kind of everything falls apart. Where, I won't be cooking a lot of dinners, or I won't be doing a lot of laundry because I'm focused on work and I'm just go, 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 go. So, if I could learn something from her, it's like how to balance things, because she's way better at that than I am. But I think for what she's learned from me is that, you can pretty much be anything you want. And I didn't know what I wanted to do as an adult until, 3 years ago. So she gets a little bit stressed out in high school where people are like, oh, well, where do you want to go to school? What do you want to learn? What do you want to be? And she's like, I don't know. I'm like, it's okay. You can figure it out later. Just enjoy the ride and, learn the things you have to learn. And then you'll figure it out at some point. It's fine.
Well, and honestly, what you think you're going to want to be changes as you age. Because I had a plan when I was 18, and then I had a plan when I was in my 20s, and then I had a plan when I was in my 30s. And, then I did that for a while. And now I kind of went, I'm 51. Hey, let's just chuck everything and do something new.
Let's try something brand new and see how we like this.
Let's see what happens with this. So I think that's how it works nowadays a lot. But I get the stress that kids have. But I think it's great, especially for young women, to have things like this where they can see that there are women out there that maybe aren't following a traditional path, and that's okay.
Yeah, so, I definitely think so. And so it's nice that having a kid at home still, and now that she's going to be a senior, I kind of panic and think, dang, my husband was right. We should have had 4 kids. What was I thinking? Damn it.
Well, there's something to be said for empty nest too, but
every time I think about it, I start having like that panic, like, oh my God, my baby's growing up. But then I stop and think, well, the fun part of her life is going to start. She's going to go off to college, and she's going to go and be in her 20s and have a lot of fun and meet her husband and bring me grandbabies. So,
there's that
good
too.
Thing.
But I think it's also just, my mother said to me that what was really cool was seeing what we became. As we got older and got out in the world. She was like, she wanted grandbabies too, which thank God for my sister. But anyway, because that was not me. But she really thought it was interesting to see. And she was a really good example too, honestly, because she was a working mother. So I always, my focus was always, I'm gonna work, I'm gonna do something, and my sister went exactly the other way and had 3 kids and was the cheer mom and the fun house on the block and all that stuff. So so I think it's different, but I just was curious about that because I did know that you had a daughter that was still at home, and I just wondered, what it'd be interesting to ask her what she's learned from watching you. But maybe that's another show. Maybe that's another show.
Well, what's funny is her friend Mallory, her mom, is on here, and Laura has an older daughter and then 2 sets of twins. And Laura's like, dude, no, 4 is way too many. But I'm like, what? You got twins. That's different. I'm talking about spread them out. So.
That was one thing I never particularly wanted to do. So anybody who has children, I admire immensely because I have no patience for that at all. But anyway, neither here nor there. But I'm laughing at Nicole here, who says, I still don't have a plan. Well,
and that's totally fine.
Yeah, and there's a lot of us that really don't. I can't say right now I have a total plan. I'm still trying stuff and seeing what works. So that's fun. Carolyn, it's oddly unsettling to have an empty house, but rewarding to know that you love them enough to make them dislike you just enough to want to leave.
That's awesome.
That's Carolyn.
That's funny. I love it.
Laugh. So another thing that I wanted to talk to you about, I'm gonna jump a little bit back to the bling thing, because one of the things that I mentioned when I was saying we were going to have this conversation was the face mask that you're blinging.
Yeah.
And people were like, "Ooh, I want to know about that." And I honestly went on your page and I was looking for a purple one, and there wasn't one. So I was like, "Oh."
Yeah. So, well, it's funny because my mom had taught me how to sew back when I was pregnant with Tia, and I have no idea how to make the notifications stop. I'm so sorry.
That's fine. I love it that we're getting all these comments. I keep an eye on them and I'll pop them up if there's.
I meant my computer's making the bling, so I didn't know if you could hear the chiming thing. But so my mom taught me how to sew back when I was pregnant with Tia, and so for years I designed kids' clothes and made couture children's clothing.
Oh my goodness!
So, that was fun. But that was crazy because they were toddlers, and so I turned my dining room into my sewing room, so they could play and I could sew and I could watch them and be involved with them. And so it was just an absolute disaster mess. And for years, my husband tolerated that. He likes me. I don't know why, but he puts up with me.
Well,
And
a supportive spouse is a huge gift.
yeah. So I had taken my daughter to Florida for spring break, and we got home, and I was thinking, okay, all of this is happening. The COVID is real, and we're going to be locked down, and maybe I should learn how to make masks. And so I've got a really good friend who is a nurse manager over at a local or local hospital here, Porter. And I'd asked her, like, hey, do you need anything? And I thought maybe a mask, maybe some eggs or toilet paper, because she's a nurse, she's essential.
Sure.
She's like, no, girl, I'm good. So then I made my daughter a mask 2 weeks later, and my friend's like, hey, is that offer still good? I'm like, yeah, sure. What do you need? She's like, can I get 20 masks? I'm like, oh my. I made one, and it took a while to figure that out.
Yeah.
Okay, holy cow. So I've done a lot of research, and I tried a lot of online patterns, and I kept testing it, and I revamped it. And so I've drawn my own patterns that I think fit better. And so I've done ones with some filter material, and then mine are dome shaped. So, which, to press for us in the industry, it's really hard to press up and over a dome. Like you can't sublimate over that. You have to just do one side.
Sure.
And so for like the rhinestones, or these are the Swarovskis, you can't press over let's see, where is it? You can't press over the seam. That is a royal pain in the rear.
I imagine.
So I used a trick that Matt taught us, and where you use your heat platen and you press up against it. And so the ones on the front are all hand done, pressing up against the platen by hand.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's
fun.
Quite a thing.
But what's cool is then just people are being able to kind of personalize their masks more. And so my daughter built my website for me, and we have on there like the Swarovski down to very light rhinestones. And so like this one is my new favorite one. I'll see if I can put it on. With my earphones to be interesting. But so I don't know if you can see this.
Oh, nice.
Thank you. See, where am I? There I am. And so it's a lot lighter of rhinestones. It's not as many. And so it's a lot easier to press. And then it costs me less.
And so this is where the masks would be if anybody wanted to go see them.
Yeah.
On your website? Okay.
Yes. Aw, and Kelly's so sweet. Incredible craftsmanship. Like that is a huge compliment. Kelly DeFries is absolutely amazing. And she did this tumbler in Swarovski crystals, and just to receive a compliment from a friend like that who is so incredibly talented, it's like, oh.
Kelly, post the website for us, please. Yeah, Kelly, I was getting to it. I got a director for the show, but we'll put it back up now. So there we go. We'll leave it there for a while. And let's see. I'm just looking to see. Oh, I just want to answer this one real quick. For some reason, the volume is not working for me. I can't hear anything. I'm guessing that's on your end. So you may need to just go out and come back in. Unless there are other people who can't hear, but it doesn't appear that that's what's happening. And Kelly says, "Ah."
So I've seen people ask about washing. So I pre-wash all my fabrics in hot, just because I'm like, there's a virus out there. I don't know what kind of situations people are going to be in. So I want to shrink the fabric as much as possible before I even cut into it. And so I've even boiled our masks, our family masks, and it's fine. When you heat apply rhinestones properly with a heat press, they'll outlast the garment. So like this, you can see it's all wrinkled. I just got it out of the wash because we have a lot of masks in our family because I make them. And I just take them and throw them in the wash with everything else. I wash everything on hot, throw it through the dryer, and it's totally fine, even with the rhinestones. Somebody else asked if I used an oven mitt. That would be smart because I'm burning the heck out of my fingers. I've actually gotten just a little foam from Joann's where you can get the 1/2-inch foam. And I use that for also bumping up seam allowances or to get away from seam allowances on my heat press.
Right.
So I've just got that and I wad it up in there and press it up against that. And
so how hot do you have to get the heat press to set a rhinestone?
For rhinestones, for SS10 and SS6, you need the heat to get all the way to the back of the stone to activate the adhesive. Right. So you want to press it at 330 degrees for 15 seconds.
Okay, so definitely have something between your hand. Yeah, that's not a good plan. And I like this one. The construction of the masks are great, but we can't see who that's from. If you're having that problem, go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give StreamYard permission to show us who you are, because we love to know who's talking to us. I like this one too. I need your daughter's services to build my website. There you go. She could start her own website design business.
There you go, right?
Yeah. Hey, you never know. The strangest
And
things can start a business. So,
well, and then she took the very first class in her high school of online marketing, something or other this year. It's the first time they offered it. And it's so cute because then like people worn stuff and they'll tag me on their Instagram. She's like, oh, you just got organic marketing. I'm like, oh, look at you learning stuff. Yay. Okay, then.
And Todd says he's wearing his tiger mask now.
That is awesome. Yeah. So Todd, he's my wonder twin. I absolutely adore Todd. And
yeah,
so he's going on.
Very close.
Well, it's funny because I started talking to Todd through the TRW page like 2 years ago. And he's like, oh, you should come to DAX. You should come to DAX. Like, nah, I'm not going to go to a trade show and travel. Are you crazy? No. So then later on that year was Indy. And so I knew he had gotten a house with his now wife, Corey, at the time was his fiance. And people were chipping in and like getting rooms. And so it was like last minute. And I'm like, okay, if I come out there, can I pay you and stay on the couch or something? He's like, oh, you're showing up. And so, yeah, I just bought a ticket. And like 3 days later was on the airplane and I went out there and I didn't tell anyone else, just Todd and Corey, and surprised everybody. And it was awesome.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, one of the things that I think is really interesting is about this group. I mean, Todd and Corey and Aaron and Kelly and you and, you know, all these, and Carolyn and all these people is the Renee and yes, Renee, who made me laugh earlier today. Anyway, the whole attitude you all have about there's enough for everybody, we can share, we can help. And that's something that we had talked about yesterday too. So I wanted to kind of delve into that a little bit because I have to say, I don't understand the attitude of some people have that if I help you, then I'm losing something in the process.
So unfortunately, I think that a lot of people are worried that either A, they're sharing their trade secrets and that, you know, now they're not going to have this special something anymore. And then you could have it too. But so unfortunately, there's that. And then I'm sure there are times where people will come in and snipe your customer and be like, oh, well, hey, I hear that Pilar's doing these shirts for you. What you charging? Oh, I can undercut her by 50 cents. Yeah, so I'm sure there's that kind of stuff that does happen at times, but I try to think that there's so much work out there. I physically can't do it all. I can't do all of the shirts, all of the hats, all of the cheer jackets, all of the masks. I'd rather, you know, build a relationship with people and, you know, cheer each other on. And I'm going to be somebody's biggest cheerleader. You know, it's like, you know, hey, you shipped out a lot of stuff today. Great. And there's actually one lady who I met when I was working with TRW in Long Beach. Who she had come up and she was local to Long Beach and she moved out here to Denver. And she's like literally 10 minutes from me now. And so she had moved out here at the end of June last year. And so on 4th of July, we were taking our boat out. I'm like, hey, you know what? Technically, she's a local competitor. But I'm like, no, that's not how I'm going to be. I'm like, hey, this is my neighborhood. Welcome to the town. Do you want to come out with us? I'm sure you don't know one in here yet. So she came out here and we've gotten to be friends. And, you know, she offers to help me. I offer to help her. And you know, if it's nice to have somebody that if you do run into a bind where it's like, I am slammed, there's somebody local that can be like, hey, you know what? Can you come help me? Or can I give you these and you can press these or whatever and vice versa. Like we haven't done that yet, but we both know it's there as a resource if we need it. And I love that.
Well, and I think that was one of the things when I was at Enmart that I did a lot is people would call because they either knew me or whatever, and they would say, you know, hey, can you do this? And I'd say, no, I can't, but I can recommend these people. And a lot of people were really shocked that they're like, well, you're a company. How can you? I'm like, because we either can't or don't want to do it. So here's somebody who will. What do I lose by giving you that? So,
Todd.
Yeah, I got to get a couple of these in here now. I like this. No one can steal your talent, so we should share the knowledge, which I think is so true, but some people don't recognize that. And this one makes me laugh. Just because I'm fat doesn't mean I want the whole pie. I'm good with just a piece, which I think is true too, but I don't know where that came from. And I see that sometimes with women too, where the competitive thing comes into it. And I'm super competitive,
but I'm mostly competitive with myself. where
Well,
if
and
I
I
do
think
something, I want to do it better.
yeah, and I think that's the good way to be, because that spurs you to learn new things and set, new goals for
Right.
yourself. But
Right.
I guess I'm wondering, that's one of the things that I'm working with in the group too, is how do we change that attitude? Is
I
it
think
just not dealing with the people who are, jerks, for lack of a better word, or
well, I've actually dealt with some of the jerks, where
mm-hmm.
people are, very negative and very territorial, and I'm going to keep being me. Just because
Mm-hmm.
someone's going to be a jerk doesn't mean I'm be like, oh well, I'm not going to help you. If that person comes to me like, hey, you know what? Do you happen to have, an extra large tank in this color? I'll actually check my stock and be like, hey, yeah, I actually do. Or hey, do you have this vinyl? Or can you help me out? I'm not gonna be like, well, you were a jerk before, so peace out. Like, no,
Well,
I kill them with
and
kindness.
Well, and a lot of times that's the way to turn the person who maybe was not behaving as well as you would like into someone who
Right.
understands what's happening and converts, I guess, for
I
lack of
think
a
just
better word.
bless and release, So there's going to be all
Yeah.
kinds, and there's going to be people that, a little bit more abrupt on their delivery, and maybe they don't always mean what they say when it comes across curt or rude or whatever. And so, like I said, I'm just going to keep being me, and we'll have different opinions, or we'll have different ways about going around things, and they might come around, they might not. I'm going to keep being me, and I'm going to keep growing my business. I'm going to keep being a cheerleader for everyone that does well, and I'm going to keep learning and helping others when I can.
Well, and I think right there, you just said something really important, so I don't want to miss it, which is I'm going to keep being me, and I'm going to keep doing what I do, and whatever other people do or think is their issue, not mine. And I think that's also, and I don't think it's necessarily women, I think it's business owners in general. We tend to worry a lot about what people think. Are they going to leave a bad review? Are they going to be, that kind of thing. So I really liked that you said that, because that's, I'm just laughing over here because I'm reading the comments and it's like, Pilar is amazing. Pilar's
oh, thanks.
so sweet. So let's see what else we've got over here. Oh, I like this. When you share your knowledge with others, it always comes back tenfold, which I think is totally true.
Yep.
Anytime that you can spend building something or assisting other people, you're going to benefit from it as much as they do. I think
totally
that's
agree.
Totally true. Totally
I definitely
true.
agree. Libby has a question. She's asking,
is
there a noticeable difference in hot fix crystals? Yes, definitely. So the way hot fix crystals are made, there's facets on them, and some of them are machine cut, which are the really high quality hot fix crystals or hot fix rhinestones. And then you have Swarovski, which is like the pinnacle. So there is a difference. There's also a difference in the adhesive. And when you're lucky, you'll find a great company and you'll keep using them because you'll keep buying from them. Like I know Matt from TRW had some rhinestones that he just was not satisfied with the adhesive, that, some of the adhesive was letting go. So he stopped carrying those. He's like, no, I'm not going to, like, he might have all these things sitting in his warehouse and he's already spent the money on it. He's not going to just unload that on people. And to me, that speaks volumes about his character, that he's going to go ahead and eat that cost instead of passing it on to somebody else. And then that just builds his reputation in my mind. So same kind of thing. So you want to invest in quality rhinestones. You want to get Korean low lead rhinestones if you're starting out. Use those as much as possible. That's usually what people's budget will call for. And if you do have a chance to try machine cut or diamond cut rhinestones, it's like the night and day when you see them and like, ooh, so sparkly. And same thing with Swarovski. When you see that, it's like, oh, wow. That is like your eyes just
it's totally worth it.
Shiny. Yeah. So there's definitely a difference. There's a difference in the adhesive on the back. So definitely like try out a few different companies. I completely recommend TRW 1,000%. If you want Swarovski, I completely recommend Kelly. If you're going to be hand gluing, I completely recommend Kelly's new line of Kira Kira flatback rhinestone or flatback crystals. So these are all companies I would totally recommend, and I've spent money with them, and I've spent money with other people too, and tried things. Like I've got a friend, Crystal, who's in the Women in Garment Decoration group. She does amazing tumblers, just mind-blowingly awesome. And she showed me some crystals that she had ordered from Amazon, and these look like little chunks of plastic that were cut off of a string. And I'm like, Oh
Ew.
my God, what are you going to do with those? Aw,
Ew.
Todd says I'm his go-to.
Yeah, I was just going to put
Thanks,
that up.
buddy.
She's my go-to for hotfix things. She's a very knowledgeable source. I was scared the crap of them for the longest time. I'm not sure exactly where that's going, but I get it. Okay, I'm going to reveal my total lack of knowledge of anything rhinestones here. I'm assuming hotfix is you have to set them with a heat press.
Yes.
Okay.
Heat applied.
I have like what I know about rhinestones is pretty much sparkly. I'll be honest. I like them.
Here.
Yeah, Lisa's here.
Okay, so what's really cool is like with rhinestones, there's a couple of different ways that you can apply them.
Okay.
Obviously, you can pick them up one at a time, and I would completely recommend one of Kelly's Crystal Katana or the Tanto or any of her tools are phenomenal. They don't leave a residue on the stone, and even for those new diamond painting things, I've got some friends that are starting to do those, and we're going to do it as a group. And I offered, I'm going to bring some of Kelly's tools. I'm like, they're like, oh, well, you have a stick and you stick it in wax and you touch it. It's like, no. I'm going to bring Kelly's tool. You guys are going to be like mind blown and it's going to be great. So it's nice that you can like learn about all the different tools in this industry. Like you said, you don't know about rhinestones except for shiny, pretty.
Yeah. And they looked very finicky to me when I first saw them. When I learned that you could set them with a heat press and make a template, I was like, okay, that's better, because the idea of picking one up and putting it, wow.
Yeah. So doing the template, you can do a template on a Cricut or any craft cutter, Cameo. You need better software than what Cricut has to do the templates, but like Matt has the TRW Design Wizard, which works in Corel, which is phenomenal. And you can make templates and you can brush rhinestones in using a little paint paddle, and you can make a huge rhinestone design after you have the template cut out in literally minutes. And you pick the whole thing up with heat resistant tape, put it on your shirt or your garment or whatever you're pressing it to, press it with your heat press. You can do multiple colors at one time and just slap it on there and press it. And as long as you have proper heat and temperature, it'll stay. It'll stick on the shirt through washes, and yeah, it's a nice way to add to your business.
Okay, Libby is asking, who's for Swarovski? I can't say that.
Swore off. Yeah, so you went skiing, you broke your leg, and you swore off skiing. Swarovski.
Okay.
So if you want Swarovski, go to crystalninja.com.
Oh, yes, Kelly. Definitely.
Yeah, Kelly is world renowned. She literally is the best in the entire world.
She has made, I'm talking to her. I'd like to get her on this show at some point, but her schedule hasn't allowed it yet. So, and I got to say thank you to Nicole, who said, ooh, sparkly, same. That's all I know too. So I'm not the only one. Yay. And Carolyn says, it's called Arizona Camo in Minnesota, but I love it for highlighting some of my garments with embroidery. And she's done, Carolyn did, I don't know if you saw it, but there was a coat a while ago that she did like fringed embroidery and rhinestones, and it was very cool. She's done some cool stuff. So the whole thing is just, it amazes me because I'm always just really amazed at if you need to get stones off a garment, give them to Corey Downing. What?
Is that her name? It's got to be somebody that knows the secret about Corey. She can watch things off so well. We have somebody from South Africa even. That's awesome.
Yeah. Hi.
What's nice about rhinestones, when you add it to your lineup, you don't have to have an entire design done in rhinestones because it can be very heavy on a garment.
Yeah.
And what's nice is if you have, say, like I didn't make this, I bought this in Florida, but it says property of NASA. But if this was like high school design, I could go ahead and highlight around the letters with crystals, with rhinestones. And now suddenly it adds, $7 to $10 of value to the shirt. And so it's a nice way to offer. It was Renee. Okay.
Yeah, apparently the Facebook user is Renee. Well, I do want to ask you about that since you just mentioned it, because I think this is also something that would be helpful. So you said you kind of started out, you went to the cheerleading thing for your daughter and you didn't have any spirit wear and you decided you were going to do it. So how did you take that to being a business? I mean, it's one thing to make a shirt for yourself or a shirt for yourself and a couple of friends. How did you grow
Jump.
it? Yeah. How did you jump? How did you grow it?
It started off with, I just made a few shirts and other moms saw, I'm like, oh, that's cute. Where'd you get that? Oh, how do I get one? And so I started just making them and, selling them to people. And of course, like an idiot, I way undercut my price. And I'm like, oh, well, this only cost me this much. So here you go. And I made almost nothing, which was dumb. But then around Thanksgiving, I had no idea. So I started off in June, and by Thanksgiving of that year is when I had discovered Matt and TRW. And so I started just binge watching his tutorials on YouTube, and he is awesome. He gives business advice. He tells about all the mistakes he made. I'm like, yeah, I made that one. Okay, I did that one too. And so it's nice to know you're not alone. I've made a lot of the mistakes out there. I still make mistakes. And so I started growing like that, and I started just watching him. And then my first big order, I'm like, well, I can't just do with an iron anymore. I need to jump. And so I went ahead and invested in my business, and I took the plunge, and I thought, well, I'll buy a heat press. So I was going to buy a tiny little heat press at first, and then I kept researching, and I'd bump up my budget by another $100, and then by another 100. And finally, I wound up with a Stahl's Max Clam Press, and I love it. It's a fantastic machine. And then I was gonna, a year later, jump into an auto clam and buy it from Matt. And he's like, no, I'm not going to sell it to you. And I'm like, I'm spending money with you. I'm going to buy a big heat press from you. And he refused. He said, you've got a great heat press. You don't need it. Can you physically use both of them at the same time? Or do you have somebody else going to use one? I'm like, oh, no, I'm not that good yet. I can't just thread shirt, slam it, thread a shirt, slam it.
Yeah.
I'm not that coordinated. I'm way too clumsy and too slow.
Well, that's the mark of a good company right there.
Exactly. So yeah, friend here, Scoob is on here. She's awesome.
Yeah, I see that.
We're in Long Beach.
That one. And Todd says, let's be honest, you lost money. Oops.
Yes, always. Yep.
The comments are coming in so fast. By the time I hit one, we've moved on to something else. So that's funny. And Lisa says the Max Press was my go-to for years.
Yep. So that's how I started. I bought the big heat press, and I had my first, to me, big order, and I was still cutting on a Cricut, and it was only 22 shirts. But that was my first big order. And then by that spring, I was telling my daughter that I was going to wait until Black Friday that year. And I was going to invest in the TRW software. And she's like, well, how much are you going to save? I'm like, $100. And she's like, really? Really, Mom? Like, can you make $100 between now and then using the software? I'm like, oh, yeah, tons. She's like,
why are you? Yeah.
So, yeah, my kid teaches me a lot. So, I mean, she should be my business manager. So I went ahead and took the plunge. And then right after that, I got my biggest 2-day order of just one solid order at one time. It was $8,000. And I cut it on a Cricut. And wow, that was slow.
Yeah, I imagine.
And then I went to Matt's in-house training, and I got to meet Lisa, and I got to meet Kelly in person. And that was awesome. And we got to be friends. And I mean, I learned so much there in 3 days of training. And so it's just jumped and grown, and haven't looked back. I'm still trying to grow it.
So a couple good points there that I want to bring out. Number one, your daughter is very, very smart, because that's such a good point. Sometimes we get so caught up in, I'm going to save a little bit, that we don't think about what we could do if we had the whatever it is now.
Exactly.
And, she was totally right. You could probably make that $100 that you were going to save about 4 or 5 times over if you had it now.
So my heat press paid for itself that first month I got it. The TRW software paid for itself in less than a week. It paid for itself. Like, oh, holy cats. Okay. So I've actually made some various posts and told people on the crafting page, if you are serious about your business, definitely take the time to invest in your business. And I've got one design
I'm working at right there.
So I've got one design I did on other software that I cut on a Cricut, and it's my daughter's high school mascot, and it's a big, huge wolf head, all in rhinestones, like 1,500 rhinestones on it. And the other software is very pixelated. It's a hatch fill. And so the TRW software is a vector fill. So it does curves with the rhinestones. And the time difference between cutting it with a Cricut and cutting it with my Graphtec. Oh, then also got a Graphtec. The Graphtec cuts it in 9 minutes flat. The Cricut was over an hour. And so that's
a big difference.
Time is money.
Now,
and
the
then
Graphtec is bigger,
Oh yeah,
more professional, like.
yeah. The GraphTech is like, the Mercedes-Benz of cutters. It's awesome.
Okay.
So it's a 24-inch cutter. It's super detailed. It's super fast. It's super quiet. And I can't say enough good things about the GraphTech or about Matt's software or about investing in your business. Like Todd with our success group, Todd and Aaron have this amazing training series going on where the more time that you spend investing in your business, the rewards are going to just come like more than tenfold. I can't even put it into words.
Well, that's a huge point right there, is like you said, you invested in going to the TRW training, and you invested in learning how to do what you wanted to do and all that. And I mean, obviously the end result has been very much worth it. But I think a lot of people, especially in the beginning, that's a hard thing to do, especially when you don't have a ton of money coming in.
Oh yeah.
But I think that's when it's most important.
So I totally agree. So when I got that one order where it was an $8,000 order and I was cutting on a Cricut, I was looking at ordering a GraphTech, and I was going to finance it. And so I had everything set up and I was ready to do it. I'm like, I'm gonna have the money next week. So I just want to go ahead and order it while it's on sale. I want to go ahead and get this. And talking to the finance company, it was going to take a lot longer to pay it off, and I would have a penalty if I tried to pay it off early. I'm like, never mind. Okay. But there's different options that you can do. Like PayPal has something where it's like 6 months, same as cash. And there's just different financing options for whatever you want to buy and invest in your business. So
well, we're getting some other comments over here that I want to just throw out. Martha says 8,000 on a Cricut. Amazing and good on you. Cheryl says, I use the TRW software, but I have a machine. I want to try the brushing. I have no.
So if you have, she probably has a CAMS machine. So all right, a CAMS machine is a machine that'll actually set your rhinestones for you, and it puts it upside down on the heat transfer tape. And so it just lays it all up there, and it's just an automatic machine, and it's super fast and it's super awesome.
I never even knew that was a thing.
Yeah, they're expensive. Yeah, goals. But well, no, not goals, because instead of me having that machine, I'd rather order those transfers from somebody else. I don't want to put 10,000 to 15,000 in a machine and then have the maintenance and the upkeep.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I mean, and it stands to reason that such a thing would exist, because people buy rhinestone transfers. But my mind is blown right now. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. So but so what Cheryl's talking about right here, Scooby Doo's talking about, is where you get this stuff called Magic Flock, and it's a fuzzy material. It's fuzzy on top and sticky on the back, and you make your rhinestone design on the software, and you send the design to the cutter, and it cuts it on this Magic Flock template material, and then you pour rhinestones on. And because the way the rhinestones are shaped, with a dome on top and flat on the bottom, as you're brushing them over, the little hairs on the Magic Flock work with the rhinestones. The rhinestones roll over each other, and they just fall in there straight up. It's awesome. And then you brush away the extras, and you just pick up the transfer. My daughter does it for me all the time. If she wants money and I have a big order, I'm like, well, you can make transfers for me. Brush in rhinestones. And so she's like, can I watch TV? Like, yes, you can watch TV or watch your computer while you do it. That's fine. And she's awesome. She's very, very meticulous, even when it's multiple colors and it's big, huge designs. So
I'm just laughing because when Carolyn did this podcast a few weeks back, and her mother owned an embroidery business, and she was talking about finishing garments so she could watch TV when she was growing up. The trend continues.
Yep. Oh, Todd's correcting me. A CAMS is 30,000.
Yeah,
I was thinking used maybe be less, but yeah.
30,000.
So I would much rather buy transfers.
Oops. Cheryl says, not CAMS, Ioline Crystal Press 2.
Okay.
So.
I have not researched those, so I don't know really a lot about the Ioline. Todd probably knows about them.
Well, Todd's talking about the amount of plates and the amount of plates and different stone sizes made me double take on the CAMS. So I'm assuming that's the different things you can make.
With a CAMS machine, I know that there's different size hoppers. So if you have a 2-hopper machine, you can only do 2 color rhinestones designs, or 2 different sizes, like an SS6 with an SS10 in one design. And so a lot of designs have multiple size stones and multiple size colors. So you need more hoppers, which means a bigger machine, which means more money. But I don't know about the plates. So Todd's saying that the Iolines are pretty cool.
Yep, that is what he's saying. They are pretty cool. And Carolyn says TV time. I like that. So I just am finding this all fascinating because let me ask you this, because I know the school market is a big market for a lot of people. Were you able to leverage the fact that you already had connections to be able to get into that market, or?
To get into it, it was helpful that my daughter was on the Palms team. And so she was a JV Palm, and I started learning. I got to be friends with a lot of the varsity moms because they told us what was going on. We didn't know what to expect in the school year. We didn't know what to expect during competitions. And so one of them was instrumental. She actually introduced me to the head coach of the varsity team, and she's like, oh, here, for our the end of the year banquet, we'll do hats with all of the different colors for different grades and the logo. And so the coach was just blown away. She's like, these are cool. Where'd you get these? She's like, oh, well, Pilar did these. And she's like, you can do this? And so I'm like, yeah, this is my business. I just started, and I can make whatever you have in mind. I can put it on a shirt or pants or hat or whatever. And so that was that one big order. That's what got my foot in the door. And then from there, it's grown to other schools and like local businesses. And part of it also is just wearing your stuff, because that's the nice thing about this business is that pretty much anything we wear can be advertising. Like right now with my masks, I go into any public place, I have to have a mask. Well, I'm going to wear one of mine. Well, so because it's here, it's easy.
Yeah,
I have it. And so I'm getting a lot of business that way. And so that's the nice thing, is that everything we make is advertising, and it's free advertising. And I've had so many people reach out to me like, hey, listen, I saw this on so-and-so, and they said to contact you. And so it's just word of mouth a lot of times. And then also with social media, with advertising on Instagram and Facebook. And now for me, even on Nextdoor, I'm getting more orders that way too. So just getting your name out there and being consistent about it. That's the thing that's hard, is consistency is key.
Oh, consistency is tough.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because it's really hard to, especially when you get distracted in other aspects of the business, it's really hard to pull yourself back.
Well, it's the hard thing with having your own business, especially something like this. Not only do you have to know how to make various items, then you also have to know how to take really good pictures. And then you have to know how to do social media. And then, you also have to find time to, have a family, or to bathe and clean your house and feed yourself, all the same thing.
And sleep a couple hours, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I'm laughing because over here in the comments, we're having a whole discussion about rhinestone machines now, but I want to move away from that. And I want to talk about another thing that you mentioned that I think was a really good point. So I wanted to cover it, which was outsourcing.
Oh, yes.
You don't have to have all the machines. You don't have to be able to do all the stuff. You just have to know people who can do what you can't, basically.
Definitely.
But I wanted to talk about that. So how do you pick
sources?
The people you outsource to?
For me, it was big that I started making relationships and networking at the trade shows, and just through the TRW crafting page, start to get to have friends, and you start seeing who knows different processes. Like, for example, when after I had that big $8,000 order, I went to in-house training, and that's right when I got my graph tech. And then I also had to make, I think it was 5,000 decals.
Oh my
goodness. So I was a little bit oh my gosh. And everyone's like, outsource that. Hit a button, outsource. I'm like, no, I need to control. I need to have everything right. I need to make sure it's good. And because I'm, crazy and I'm very anal. And so I remember Matt even said to me, he's like, Todd's helping you, right? And so half the labels I actually did have printed, and Todd was awesome. He found some printable holographic decal vinyl and printed them, and they were fantastic, and it was awesome, and shipped to me. And so that took a huge weight off of me. And so anything else in this business, I would much rather hit a button and send the job out, support another business that way. And it takes time off of me where I can go do other parts of my business. I can go ahead and advertise. I can learn something else. I can be working on another order. So I think part of it is being involved in groups. Part of it is back when we had trade shows, going to trade shows, making friends. And then also it's just word of mouth. There's people I completely trust in this business, like Todd. If Todd's like, oh yeah, go over to so-and-so, they'll help you out. Great. Okay. I'll go check them out. Or if I need anything for, say, laser, I'm going to go to Renee. She's a trusted friend. She does excellent work. She is very anal and crazy like I am. So I'm like, I know if I need to order laser tumblers, they're going to come to me and be beautiful. So, It's just a matter of being involved in the boards. You can start seeing who does what, see who's helpful, who's talented, and you just start building up your resources that way. At least that's how I've done it.
It totally makes sense, but I think one of the things that you mentioned at the very beginning of this that I really wanted to touch on again was the whole, I need to be in control of it all. If it comes from me, I need to do everything. And it's like, I think that's a new business owner kind of thing, because you really feel like everything reflects on your reputation, but it's not sustainable. You can't, I mean, Todd had a really good comment here that I liked. Think of building a house and you are the general contractor. You sub out the job you can't do and still get paid. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I think he's totally right. And Tanya
wants to know the website or the.
I'm looking at your website now. It is fabulous. I want one like yours. And then she also said, what is the name of your group again? Oh, gee, I can put that up for you. Women in Garment Decoration is the name of the group on Facebook. Please do come join us if you have not already, if you're not already there with us. We'd love to have you.
And Scoop is saying how you have to really know the people. So, and that's true. It's kind of a gamble. Like, okay, are they going to actually follow through? And is this a reputable company? And I'm sure there are going to be times that you might run into somebody that doesn't have good work. So, like, for example, even just ordering transfers, plastic vault transfers, I was working with one company exclusively, loved them. They were fantastic. I loved my rep. And then I placed an order for 2 different teams. And so I started pressing the first one, and like an idiot, I didn't go through and check everything on the second one when it arrived. And so I burned up a full day because I was pressing the first team, went through the second one, and half of them were not good. The paint, the ink hadn't come through. And so I contacted them right away, sent pictures. I'm like, oh my God, I need to get these done. What am I going to do? So they handle it great. And so I think that also speaks a lot about this company, is that they handled it well, and they got me new transfers made, and they overnighted on their dime. And he even sent me a Christmas bouquet of cookies that year as, you know, hey, thanks for being a good customer. So I think that it's possible, like, we're all human. It's possible for a company to screw something up, but then it's how do they recover from it? How do they handle it? And then how do you handle it with your customer? That really goes a long way for building your reputation, I think.
Well, and the other thing about outsourcing that we have now that I think we didn't really used to have is you can go to review sites now. You can look at their Facebook page. There's a lot more information about how a company operates that's available now than there was in the days when it was like you found somebody in the yellow pages and called them or whatever and hoped. Yeah, and so there's a lot more groups where you can ask, hey, who do you use? Who works for you? I see that in the business basic group all the time. I've seen that in Women in Garment Decoration too. Who do you use for this? Who do you use for that? And, you know, because you know the group members, you pretty much can trust their recommendations.
Right, exactly. And so like even just finding blanks to press on. There have been times where, like, I've got my core group of friends that are in the business where I'm like, hey, you know, my team wants these kind of blankets. What do I use? And Renee's like, oh, hold please. And she just knows like the model numbers. And I'm like, okay, she has a valuable wealth of information. So I'm like, hey, help again. What do I need?
And Renee said from an earlier comment, thanks, my friend. Still, Renee, still don't know why StreamYard doesn't like me. I don't know why either, Renee, but I'm sorry that they're not playing nice with you today.
And StreamYard does that to me with whenever I go through this way to get on Todd's lives or on the OSG lives. If I do it this way, I'm still one of Todd's FU people.
I don't know why it does that. I have not figured that out yet. But thank you for being here, Renee. We really appreciate it. So the whole outsourcing thing is one thing, and the whole teaching thing is one thing. But what I'm really finding very interesting here today is you've got quite a fan base.
Oh, that's so sweet. I know. I'm like, yay.
For people who are like, for instance, there was somebody in the business basic group today, and I'm not going to say who, but she set up a goal where she's like, I want to build up my page and I haven't posted in a while. And so I gave her some advice, but I'm curious, what would you tell somebody who's looking to build more of a following?
Like for me, I'm around a lot. And so I learned.
Be around.
So I've learned so much, for example, from the crafting page from TRW, that, and like at the beginning, like I said, I was the person that knew nothing. I was brand new, and literally every single person on there knew more than me. And so I just hit the ground running, and I learned as much as I could, and then I'm happy to give back. So when people are like, hey, how do I do this? If I know how to do it, I'll tell them. And if I don't, I'm like, I think it's like this. Let me see if I can find you a video, or I can ask one of my friends. I'll try to help you out. This is where I would go to look. And so I think that just trying to be as helpful as possible and being consistent, again, like just being active in the groups. And like when Matt does his lives, there's so many questions that go by. There's no way he can possibly see them all. And I remember at in-house training, Gabe, who is his marketing manager, told me he pulled me aside. He's like, when you and Todd answer questions, it is so helpful. Thank you so much. Like, oh, yay. I thought we were being a pain in the butt. Okay, yay. So it's just trying to be, I just saw Todd. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to put that one up, and then I was like,
oh, he's such a dork.
It's Todd's sense of humor.
Oh, I know. I love him. He's such an idiot.
In
a good way.
Todd and Corey and the group that's formed around them, they're just fun people, and they're really sweet and kind, and they sent me booze, so how can you not love Todd?
Exactly. I know. I have gotten so many packages from Todd. I have never gotten booze. I'm like, oh, I see who the favorites are.
Yeah, well, I think he was trying to corrupt me a little bit, but it worked, sort of, so it was good.
And there's Will. Say hi, babe. There he is.
I will. The patient spouse.
Yes, he tolerates a lot. Let's see. I left a loaded. Yeah, no. Well, it's Todd.
You're trying to set yourself up for that one, but I mean, it's if Todd's around, you kind of got to know. And I've seen people asking, and Kim asked this, and I'm just gonna put her up there. Oop. And see, they move. I can see your name. I just can't see all the comments for some reason. The reason why you can't see all the comments is because they aggregate here, so we see them all. But if you're on if you're seeing it from a particular group or something, you won't see all the comments. You'll only see the ones from the page that you're on. Oh, and Todd also says that you have enough booze for all of us, which is nice, I guess.
Well, yeah, there's stories there.
Yeah, I heard a story about somebody almost falling down an escalator.
I didn't fall down. Renee saved my life.
Oh,
I did not fall.
All right, okay. I'm just saying, I heard a story.
Yep. Thank God for Renee. She saved my life, and it was my fault that we could not ride scooters that night.
Oh, that's
yeah.
too bad.
But we've ridden them other times. So
that was at Indy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have another. What is the Facebook page again? Oh, gee, you can ask me that all day. I will put it up every dang time. Women in Garment Decoration is the group. Please do come join us. We love to have new members. And let's see what else. And Kelly's just laughing.
Laughing.
Now. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are almost dangerously into bonus time. Oh, Renee says, don't let Pilar drink wine at lunch. Don't let me drink wine at lunch either, if anybody needs to know that for future trade shows.
So now I think that means at the next trade show that we're both at, we need to have lunch and wine.
Well, I would say that's a given. Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
I think that's totally a given, honestly. But a good red wine and a nice Italian lunch, and then we can go have naps.
That's what we had. Well, we didn't have the nap. That would have been nice. Yeah, I needed the nap.
We just have to make sure that if I'm speaking, we have lunch after I'm speaking, because me getting up and trying to speak after having red wine for lunch or having any kind of alcohol for lunch would be not good. Not good.
Yeah. I'm remembering the notes Renee and I wrote back and forth to each other after lunch that day. Yeah.
Oh, and Todd says, do not feed warm tequila shots to Pilar either. Don't feed warm tequila shots to anyone. That sounds
awful. That was bad. I know. I go to his wedding and he poisons me. What the heck?
Well, that's just wrong. And Carolyn says, I've been adding members as they pop into the group today. Yay. So happy to hear that. And we are almost into bonus time. Yes. So should we go for a little bonus time?
Does anyone have any questions?
Does anyone have any questions? What are we? Well, let me see if I have any more questions. I did want to ask them because we got shushed. Why did you get shushed? I have a question. Why did you get shushed?
All right, so Renee and I went to lunch and we shared a pizza and we shared wine and we brought most of the pizza back. That's probably part of the problem. We should have eaten the whole pizza. And we were just like, we'd just gotten to know each other. We just totally clicked. And we were just like writing back and forth each other little notes. And somebody in front of us, and we're being quiet. So, you know, we're just like whispering each other. But so somebody turned around and actually shushed us. And it was on. Yeah. I've got to. What's that?
Was this in a seminar or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, so we were being rude.
If you were in my seminar and you were talking, I would be shooting you the glare of death. But
yeah, no. So see, have you used your foil? Yeah, Scoob, very little. That foil I bought in Long Beach, unfortunately, is not as good as the Caesar foil I found, and it like washed red to pink almost immediately. So I haven't used a whole lot of it.
And Carolyn wants to know about how much is the average startup cost for adding crystals to one's business?
Okay, so TRW has a fantastic kit for beginning bling to start rhinestones, where you can get, I think it's 5 feet of magic flock, probably 25 to 100 gross of rhinestones. Okay. And I don't know what the cost of that is off the top of my head. I don't work for them. I'm just a huge fan. But so you can do it that way, or to be most cost effective, the cost of rhinestones goes down significantly when you buy more, or I should say the cost per rhinestone. So if you're only buying 10 gross of rhinestones, a gross is 144 stones. So if you buy 10, that's only 1,440. And when you do say words, it's amazing how quickly words will eat up stones.
Right.
There can easily be 50 stones in a single letter. And so I started off buying like 25 gross and I realized, oh, that just used up all my stones. Okay, a shirt. So then I would buy 100 stones at a time. And now I usually buy 500 gross packs at a time. If I'm doing Swarovski, I'll try to buy the factory packs from Kelly, which has 10 gross of stones in it, or crystals. And that way with Swarovski, I don't put as many Swarovski on any one item just because the cost would be through the roof. And unfortunately, I don't have the customer base that can afford that yet. Eventually.
Right. Eventually, yeah. Well, Carolyn said quantity is key, which I think she's exactly right there, that the quantity of stones, the more you get, the better off you're going to be as far as pricing and what you can do.
Exactly.
That's a really good point that I hadn't really thought of. You look at a word and you don't think there's 50 stones in that word.
No, in each letter.
In each letter.
Word. Yeah, like, for example, look at just even this.
Okay, so
Kelly that says Bling Boss, like just in. I'm just counting really quickly. Just in like the letter L, I think there's probably about 13 to 15 crystals right there.
Well, that's just okay.
And figured that's a very simple, thin font. So, but on a shirt, I would do a thicker letter, and so each letter can easily eat up 50 stones.
Well, there you go. I mean, who knew?
But what's nice about having rhinestones when you add it to accent, like say, for example, on this NASA shirt, if I were to just accent, say, like the little NASA symbol right here around the outside, that would take maybe like 30 stones. And so if I was to sell that to a customer, obviously not NASA, don't sell copyrighted things, that's bad.
Right. But if you were selling...
Let's say it was a basketball for Grandview High School, and I put stones around that, I could sell that shirt with rhinestones for, say, $35. And if the customer is like, well, I like it, but I don't want to pay $35, I would go backwards, like, okay, well, I'll take off the rhinestones and I'll just do it in glitter vinyl, and I can do that for $30. And I said, well, I want a little bit less. I'll just do it in plain vinyl, $25. And they say, well, I want the rhinestones. I want the sparkle. Like, well, then you have to have. And so you're also teaching your customer about perceived value. So you can accent with rhinestones. You don't have to have the full on rhinestone thing. But if you do have full on rhinestones, you do make a big statement.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've seen some of the stuff that Kelly's done that it just blows my mind. Yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine I can't imagine the amount of work that went into some of the things that she's done. But and the incredible amount of
she's hand placing it, and she was just amazing. And she's an artist, and like I look at her old stuff where she even used to paint phone cases with portraits. Like, wow, you don't do stick figures like I do. That's impressive. So, and then she's able to go ahead and do that with Swarovski crystals on top of the paint, and it's just mind blowing. And she's got fantastic classes. If you want classes on hand blinging, Crystal Ninja Dojo. Kelly has amazing classes.
Amazing classes. Well, I have to say, all of you that do what you do amaze me, because I have zero talent in this area at all. So watching you guys create what you create is just amazing to me. And I feel very privileged to get to see it, because I know something a lot of people don't. So that's kind of cool. And and Cheryl says, I joined the group, I think. Yay! I like that. Kelly, I'm just a glorified tile installer. I don't think so, Kelly. I don't think so. And I think we're now 5 minutes into bonus time. We could probably go on for like another couple hours. It would be fun, but I think we probably need to say goodbye before we do go on for another couple hours.
Sounds good. I've enjoyed being here. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I just want to run through, if you want to see Pilar's work, this is her website. This is her Facebook page. And if you want to see what she's doing in the TRW group, that is the TRW group as well. Thank you so much for being here. This was so fun.
Thank you.
I learned a ton, and I really appreciate it. And I'm going to pop you out and just say goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Next week. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. That was such an amazing talk that we just had, and we learned so much. Join us next week, same time, same place. So it'll be June 17th at 3 p.m. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you very much. Have a good day.